Good morning and welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I am Becky Alley and I am super pumped to be here and bring you a special veteran show with our amazing guests, which we're going to introduce here shortly. But before I get into that, I got my homegirl, my ride or die. I will follow you to any mortgage dumpster fire there is. Miss Lisa Lawson.
Yes, thank you, Becky. Yes, I feel the exact same way about you. I feel very blessed that we are coworkers.
Oh my God, I couldn't get through my life without Lisa. She literally is the best person on the face of the planet. Okay, so there was no other person in my mind that was going to be in the studio with us today. It was Veterans Day yesterday, so what better way to pay tribute to someone that I feel is a great real estate agent. She's also a veteran, but she's a really freaking great person. Miss Sherry Gramlich from EXP, welcome.
Woohoo! Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here today.
I'm excited for you to be here. So you got 1 hour of all of the things: real estate, mortgages, life, how you can leverage real estate in your portfolios. We're going to talk about all the things. I don't even know what we're going to talk about sometimes, but we just talk about it. So we're going to take all your calls, 248-539-9797. Anything that is on your mind, give us a call. We're going to talk about VA especially today. We're going to have some time there. And before we get into that, I just want to say Capital Mortgage Funding would like to send our heartfelt thanks to all veterans and honor their invaluable service. We proudly salute their bravery of their service members, their family, and we are so grateful for the sacrifices they have made to ensure our nation's freedom. I want to make sure I get that out. It's very clear. We have freedoms. We're here. If you're watching us on Facebook Live, we are very patriotic today because I had to salute my girl here, and she's very vocal about her. Where your status is and how you're trying to help vets, and getting them back into life sometimes is hard.
Absolutely.
And so I want you to kind of tell us about, obviously we're going to get into the real estate part, but I want to hear about what are the things that you're doing specifically for the vets to kind of help them elevate and to be better in life.
There's a few things, actually. So I am a chaplain for the American Legion. And so sometimes when a veteran passes away, I'm helping the veteran's spouse. When somebody's sick, I get to go and visit them. When, things like that. I get to help people, guide them as to where they can go and get their benefits. I'm also a state squad leader for the EXP military network. So I work hand in hand, even with our veterans and the veteran community. So we're wrapping our arms around the veterans because sometimes they feel a little bit displaced. So we're helping them along and helping them establish their careers as well. So with EXP Realty, I'm a state squad leader and work with them as well. When I work with a veteran, I donate a percentage of my commission to a veteran charity of their choice. So there's a lot of nonprofits that are out there in this state that I'm just getting familiar with, and there's so many. And it's just an honor to be able to work with the different nonprofits: Operation Injured Soldiers, Victory Gym, Downriver for Veterans. There's quite a few.
You're absolutely right. Even with Capital Mortgage Funding, because we're DBA Fairway, we also have it's called the American Warrior Initiative, where we go around and we tour nationally, and we are very it's basically an education platform to help real estate, and exactly what you're talking about, how you can get involved with these initiatives to help these our veterans get reacclimated. You're out here, they're sacrificing their lives and their mental stability sometimes for us to have the freedoms that we have. And even it was the Freedom Run, I think last year alone we donated 101 service dogs to our veterans.
That is awesome.
And service dogs aren't cheap. This isn't like a dog from the pound. These are fully trained animals. Yep. They take a long time to get trained so they can to be a service animal to help the soldier that they need, whether it is for emotional support. Sometimes they need physical. It's all different. But, we're very, very blessed to work for a company that is very pro-VA, pro-vet. They're constantly promoting ways that we can get involved and help, things like the American Warrior Initiative. And I think it's just so important. More people need to be involved in understanding about those.
Yeah, there's actually going to be a class that we're going to be promoting here shortly where you can get certified in how to properly educate veterans in financial situations, how to properly get pre-approved. Nice. Yes, how to manage their financing. So Lisa and I are going to be taking that certification course. I'm really excited about it because when you're in line with people like Sherry, good things happen, because you're talking about some people are scraping, and people get so selfish sometimes about their finances and money and things like that. But you just heard her say that she literally gives back a portion of her commission or to go towards a charity of their choice. Not very many people do that.
I think that's it. First of all, that's
very admirable.
I was about to say, I think we need to stop right here and give you props, because there are so many agents that would never think twice to do that. They just don't. And obviously I can tell by the way you're dressed, and I know that you're a vet. So this is a something that's near and dear to your heart. But regardless if you're a vet, if you've served, if you've not, I've never served. They won't take me, even if I wanted, but that's okay.
They won't take me again either. But
I think we take for granted in this country the civil liberties that have been bestowed upon us. We just, because it's our day-to-day life. We've never lived under any other type of, well, at least I haven't. I don't know about you, but we haven't lived under any other type of situation where we aren't free to say what we want. We aren't free to post what we want on the internet, and there are countries that's the case. And because we don't have to deal with that, we take it for granted. I think that when we recognize somebody who serves, it's not always as impactful as it should be. It's like, oh, there's somebody in a uniform, right? And that's it. And they don't really understand what that person sacrificed for us to have the life that we have. And you really have to stop and think about it, and understand that this person gave years of their life, usually, right? Defended this country so we can continue to live the way that we do, and I think that's super important. And the fact that you're someone who does that and on top of it donates part of your commission, I just think that's so admirable. So thank you.
Oh, it is my honor, really, because, not only being a veteran myself, but I have several family members that also have served or are currently serving. And so it's huge for me to give back to veterans, specifically, because we can't give back to every nonprofit there is. But because of being a veteran and the military family that I have, it's just so important for me to feel that and to do that.
Okay, so Lisa, you couldn't have said that more eloquently. We thank you so much. And for you being a face of so many of the faceless veterans sometimes that don't get acknowledged. So the fact that you can step into that light, but then shine it down on everyone else, snaps for you. And so we're here all day. If you got a question for Sherry, if you're a veteran and you just want to say hello, give us a call at 248-539-9797. And since we're talking about veterans and things like that, let's talk about the Zero for Heroes loan, right? How can someone that is a veteran properly use their benefits to purchase a home?
Yeah, so I think one of the, and actually, I'm so glad you're here and that you're a realtor, because this is what I get all the time. I have a client who I approve as a VA loan, which is, everyone knows, hands down, in the office, is one of my favorite loans to do. I say that all the time. I love VA loans. And they go out there, and the first thing I get a call is, people don't want to accept my offer. They want to know if I can go conventional. They say VA isn't a good, they're concerned about all these trigger words start popping up, right? Appraisal. They don't want to deal with a VA appraisal, another trigger word. They don't want to deal with a VA inspection. I'm like, they're the same thing, right? They have all these ideas that are often incorrect. How do you explain to someone that this is not only a benefit that, they've earned, rightfully so.
So true.
But there should be no negative stereotype to a VA loan. Money is money. It doesn't matter. There's no difference between a VA loan, an FHA loan, conventional loan. The money doesn't come in a different color. It's not pink. It's literally money.
It's Army green, y'all.
Exactly. All the more reason.
Absolutely.
So there's a stigma out there that a VA, a pre-approval might be, and I'm going to use the word less than, and it shouldn't be. And I know that someone like you is out there educating everybody that that's not the case. But how do we get other agents, other maybe less experienced agents, or heard that from someone somewhere once and now has repeated it to become their truth, which isn't accurate?
Well, it's like the Mary House date the rates that people heard that and they just started running around with it. And it's, I was like, nope, we're done with that.
Yes, exactly. So how do we fix it? Any ideas?
Actually, education.
Right.
So all of us realtors need to know the nuances of the VA loan, the myths that are there, so that we can front end the issue. I personally, when I'm sending an offer for a veteran, I'm establishing the fact that they paid their down payment when they served our country.
Thank you. Yes.
And they deserve that. And so I lay that out in my cover letter every single time.
Perfect.
So not only am I advocating for my veteran, in those new cover letters, I'm educating another realtor.
Perfect.
And so we have a lot of people that advocate for the VA, for the veterans, and we're just like getting more and more people familiar with it. That's part of EXP Military Network as well. Knowledge is power.
Right.
Now knowledge is power. And like even just last year, I would get so fired up about people like, oh, well, I'm VA. I don't know if they're going to accept it, or FHA is not going to accept it. So when we come back from this break, we're going to get into the specifics of these loans and how you can go get into a house, zero down, and actually turn around and use it as a rental and get in that kind of a space. So give us a call. Keep it locked here, 248-539-9797. We'll be right back. What is going on? We are back. You're listening to the Hardcore Mortgage Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. Capital Mortgage Funding is powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage, MLS number 2289, which is an equal housing lender. And we're here with Sherry Gramlich from EXP. She is a rock star agent. She is a vet, and she is out here serving the community to the maximum capacity that she can in both veterans and what she can give back to her personal community, and then also what she can give back to the real estate community, which is a rare characteristic trait to find in someone. So when you can find a great person that's out here, that's giving, that's selfless because they have sacrificed, that is an invaluable characteristic trait to have in somebody. And I'm so happy that she's in the studio with us on a no weather day, the day after Veterans Day. And I feel like you need to have more than one day for you guys.
It should be a week.
Yeah.
Well, we're getting a weekend this time, right?
Well, that's true.
That's true, because here we are. We're talking about all the things. So right before the break, we were about to get into VA loans, right? What does that mean? Why was there such a negative stigma over the last couple of years over just any government loan? Really, it was FHA is not like the same in VA, and we're out here, and people like Lisa, myself, Sherry, obviously we're advocating for those because especially for VA, those are benefits, like you said, Lisa. They have earned the right to use those benefits. And how are you going to, it should be more than, not less than, of a conventional loan. So let's kind of get into why someone would think it would be negative, right?
Well, I think it probably has to mostly, and Sherry can pipe in anytime, probably to do with the appraisal, right?
Absolutely.
I think that's, and maybe possibly the pest inspection, which is a non-issue now because now the sellers don't even have to pay for the pest inspection. Back in the day, not even earlier this year, they were paying for pest inspections. It was a requirement of the seller. Well, the VA changed that. So buyers can now pay for their own pest inspection. So that's one education that needs to get out there because it's less, not additional cost. Secondly, I think it's the appraisal. I think people have this stigma that a VA appraisal is more difficult or more stringent. And every loan has its own kind of quirks, right? And every appraiser, some things are left up to their own interpretation.
1000%.
But that has nothing to do with the VA. It would be the same with an FHA, and it'd be the same as a conventional loan. Every appraiser has their own interpretation of what that should be. So sometimes you get a conventional loan that doesn't call out peeling paint because there's barely any. And sometimes you get a conventional loan that will call out the 2-inch strip of peeling paint on one windowsill that needs to be repaired. It just depends on the person doing the work, right? The appraiser doing the work. So I think that there's this huge stigma with VA that there's going to be a ton of repairs required and they'd have to be re-inspected before closing. And that is not the case. That's not true.
Oh, no, absolutely not. The only thing that VA, it's no different than FHA.
Correct.
They're going to look for health and safety items.
That's exactly what I say. Yep.
The peeling paint and the GFI switches, and those don't even cost
a
whole lot of money, right? It's not as bad as what people make it.
Correct. And then, sometimes they'll want, like if there's a major trip hazard, right? Like, so I had one not that long ago, and there was probably, I want to say like a 5-inch lift and a concrete slab, and they wanted it leveled. That was it, because 5 inches is beyond a trip hazard. I know I would trip on that. I wear these crazy wedge boots, and I would be annihilated if I wasn't looking. So, health and safety issue, but that would have been called out on any appraisal, right? So I think it's important that we take that stigma away, and then a VA appraisal, people should be running to get these loans done because there's no appraisal management company.
Yeah, okay.
There is no appraisal management company. The VA appraisal is ordered directly from the VA.
Yeah.
The price is set by the VA.
Preach, my sister.
Right. I don't want to call it a junk fee, and it really isn't because there really is an appraisal management company, but there's no appraisal management company that we're dealing with. No third party fee. People should be jumping off the roof and being super excited and shouting it to everybody when they get a VA approval that this is so beneficial for so many other reasons.
And what's even cooler about is also if their value is going to come in less than the purchase price, you're notified in advance.
Tidewater is amazing. I love it.
So instead of us going, the appraisal's in, like the one I got yesterday, $65,000 short, with the VA loan, the appraiser will send you a notification. And it's called Tidewater. I don't know why they call it Tidewater. Maybe you can educate us after.
I don't know where it came
I don't either.
from.
People ask me all the time. I don't know. But it's called Tidewater, and they notify you that your appraisal is coming in short and give you the opportunity to supply additional comps before the report is finished. So if they say it's going to be 10,000 short, and then you call your agent, be like, oh my gosh, I got Tidewater. You get 3 days, and then they send you comps, and then guess what? Maybe it comes in 5 short, or maybe it comes in at value, or maybe it comes in 5 over.
But in that situation, you're responding. You're not
Correct.
reacting.
Thank you.
And then
you're being proactive.
You still have another opportunity with reconsideration of value. So with most like conventional loans, you got one shot. Mm-hmm. With the VA loan, you got 2.
That's right.
But part of that is what you're talking about, Lisa, is there's a lack of education on the real estate level aspect of things.
Right.
And I feel like we need to be more vocal about it. I'm doing my part as much as I can to educate people, because there is nothing wrong with a VA loan. Like you said, it's Army green, the same color as an FHA or conventional loan. Money is money when it comes to these mortgages. And they're easier in some components. I mean, there's always nuances, but health and safety, there's no reason, like you're going to get the same flag on any type of thing. Right. So in that regard, it's that education piece. And I was really upset all last year when people were like, oh, well, can I go conventional? I can't get any of my offers accepted. No, it's because whoever was calling the shots on those listing agents, they're trying to get those low-hanging fruits, when in reality, you could put someone in a home for less or zero down as far as they're concerned and change that person's life.
And not just agents. Listing agents obviously play a big part in this, but sellers, you are in control. Mm-hmm. The listing agent has to do what you tell them to do. They can make suggestions, they can explain, they can give you a net sheet, explain how all the money you'll make after. But the reality is whatever you say, they have to implement. They cannot make that decision for you. So if you are selling your home, please have that great conversation and say, look, agent, I understand you're saying that this conventional loan might be better because you think it will be, but this person is a vet, or this person is buying the first home with the FHA loan, and I want to give them a chance. Make that conversation, sellers, and explain to your agent what you really, really want.
Absolutely.
And I think sellers can dictate that. And I think that sometimes we leave all the responsibility with the listing agent, right? Saying, oh, listing agent's only taking conventional, or, and sometimes there's reasons, conventional cash only, because the house might not be in a condition that it can do a government loan. And I understand that. But, if that's not the case, let's be strong as a seller and make your wishes known, and have a true conversation with your agent, so that maybe you're going to give somebody an opportunity to own a home that would have never had that opportunity otherwise.
That's actually one of the reasons why I'm thankful for the rates actually getting moved up, is because veterans have more of an opportunity.
Yes.
So people were looking at, there's another layer of inspections, and tossing out a VA loan without even thinking,
Yeah.
And they're in a better position now, and we're able to help those veterans out just a little bit better.
I love that. Okay, so with VA loans, you can get into a home with zero down. That doesn't mean zero out of pocket, right? So it's zero down, and then you can also finance your closing costs. And one thing that people don't know is that if you're a first-time home buyer, whether you're not a first-time home buyer, VA benefits, they never expire. You can always use that benefit because it's your God-given right, because you've earned that, right? And you can actually get into a home, a duplex even, as a VA loan, zero down, occupy a unit, and then turn around and rent the other one.
The other side out, yeah.
That way it's an income stream for you as a veteran. And I wish someone would have gave me that hack. Even on a FHA loan, you can, if you're going to occupy one of those units, you occupy one of those units, you can turn around and rent. That is an income stream for you. Your living expenses are paid.
And if the other unit is already occupied, you can use that to offset the debt to income ratio.
And there's no limit. We offer jumbo. So if you want to buy a $2 million home with your VA benefits, we offer that at Capital Mortgage Funding, because we are huge advocates for our veterans.
You can actually go up to 4 units.
Yes,
correct. Yes, you can.
No
1 to 4
more
unit.
than 4, but
1 to 4
imagine,
units.
Right? We talked about that revenue stream, right? And protecting yourself in our industry.
As a vet, too. Because you know what? Sometimes vets have a hard time getting a job after they come out. It's maybe not so much now, but people who saw combat, absolutely. They've been changed forever. And sometimes they've been injured. Sometimes it's not easy for them to go back to do the same job they did before. This gives them stability. They have an income stream, passive income stream, and pays their mortgage, gives them income. It's a great situation. And we would love to have every veteran get into that situation.
Heck, yeah. So we are here till 10 o'clock. We want to hear from you, 248-539-9797, or give us a call at the office. Let us show you how you can use your current mortgage as income stream, because it's not about the equity, it's about the cash flow. So get educated. Call us. We're here to help you, and we will be right back after this break. Welcome back to the Hardcore Mortgage Show. I am Becky Alley in the studio with my homegirl, Miss Lisa Lawson.
Morning.
And the one and only Sherry Gramlich. Right before the break, we were talking about VA loans and all the benefits that can come with it. And we actually got a caller, so we're going to go right off to Mr. Jacob Kish. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Show.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
So I am calling because I'm in the process right now of trying to better my credit in order to get a VA loan. I've had some things that's just, been unfortunate events that has put me in this position. But right now I'm trying to work on getting there, and I'm pretty close. But I'm curious to know about what kind of closing costs am I going to do I need to look forward to having with like about $150,000 house loan?
I actually love this call. Go ahead, Lisa.
My wheels are turning.
Yeah.
So the VA has a 1% origination. That's kind of like their charge. They also have a funding fee, and the funding fee is actually rolled on top of the loan amount. So you don't actually have to worry about coming up with that cash. But we're going to pay their fund the 1%. You're going to pay for an appraisal. That 1% covers your title, but the taxes. Property taxes are usually your biggest expense, because when you buy a home in Michigan, we pay taxes in advance, which means you have to pay back also the seller who already prepaid their taxes for the year. So by the time we pay back the seller for the taxes they've already prepaid, pay your own taxes to set up your escrow account, and then have a little 2-month cushion that the VA requires.
Yeah, unless you get lucky and you're in that county where it's in arrears.
It's in arrears, but there's very, very few.
Yes, yeah.
You're looking at about bringing about 14 months of taxes
Right
to
now,
closing, approximately.
Unless you are 100%
Unless you're 100% disabled. That's right. So disabled vets don't pay property tax. They also don't pay a funding fee that I just mentioned. So both of those aren't applicable to a disabled vet. But assuming you're an able-bodied vet, the taxes and your homeowner's insurance are really going to be your two biggest cost of the loan. So, it depends on where you're looking, because a $150,000 house can have taxes that are $1,800 a year. You could have that same house could have taxes $3,000 a year. But it's really your property taxes, your homeowner's insurance, that 1%, your appraisal, and your pest inspection, because now buyers can pay for that.
I mean, ideally, you want to make sure, just even for life in general, right? You want to have that little bit of a nest egg. So does VA allow you to get in with zero down and minimal cost? Sure, you can maybe get into a VA loan without concessions, maybe $5,000, maybe $7,000, all contingent on what the property taxes are. But it's also a really good thing that's happening in this market, where we can also ask the seller to possibly contribute towards your closing costs. So therefore, you can actually have those concessions that are going to help, and you can go maximum 4%. Concessions. And what a concession is like, that would be like you asking me, hey, I want to buy your house, Becky, and I want you to contribute $3,000 towards my closing costs and prepaids. And then I agree to do that. So now you have an extra $3,000, and now that $5,000 just became $2,000, and it's a little bit more manageable.
Okay, yeah, I completely understand that. And also, real quick, if I can ask about the interest rate, does that vary for VA, or is it the same as the national interest rate?
So,
and is it a set interest rate?
So there's no such thing as a national interest rate. That is a huge misnomer, because Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae, they handle conventional loans. Ginnie Mae handles government loans, and they all have their own rate platform. And rates then are impacted by things like your credit score, if you're putting a down payment or not, things like that. So there is no quote unquote, like I said, national rate, but the VA rates are extremely competitive.
Yeah.
And again, your own personal credit plays into that too. So I don't want to get too much into your personal stuff, but we'll make sure you have your info.
Right.
And we'll give you a shout after, and we can talk some more nitty gritty stuff. Like,
yeah, we'll get into specific
Great.
about credit, what we can do, because this is a perfect call. And the reason why is
credit.
that you are starting the conversation. There's no pressure. This is just getting you in alignment, right? And a pre-approval is absolutely free. Okay. And what that's going to allow you to do is, number one, it lets us know what's going on, what is the roadmap for you to get to that successful, period of time of where are you at, and how quickly do you want to buy? And then it's, what do you have to do? Do you stay status quo? Do you just need to save up some more money? We're going to definitely get you hooked up with Sherry on top of that. But it's that education piece. All these little itty bitty details that you've heard on the streets, we're going to kind of debunk all that stuff for you. So we're really looking forward to reaching out to you after the show, Jake.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
All right, you're welcome. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
All right, bye-bye.
Yeah, that was a great call. And actually, it was a perfect segue because I wanted to get into the rates after the break anyway, because the rates actually dropped a full percent on Thursday, I believe it was. And in some cases, so on FHA, it literally did drop a full percent. Conventional loans.
About half.
Yeah, about a half point. So there was a huge decrease in these interest rates, which is a beautiful thing because we finally got a good CPI report, right? Which is the Consumer Price Index, which was kind of letting the government know that inflation is being a little bit, like getting a little bit more tapered. And, how they're judging these things is because it was last year's numbers, right? So you can't replace October 2021 numbers. So you saw October 2022 numbers, right? So it's like and that's where people were getting a little upset is the government with these Fed fund rates. I mean, because they've 6 times now they've raised these rates in 2022, right? And that is more directly towards your short-term rates. So when the Fed is adjusting these rates, it's directly tied to short-term rates, which is credit cards, HELOCs, things like that. How the mortgage rates were being affected is because they stopped buying the bonds. They stopped buying the things that were artificially deflating these rates to keep them artificially low for the last several years. So that's why you get those like both sides of the fence. Are they doing too much? Are they doing too little? Because it was always these delayed numbers. So we had a really good report, which is it was nice to see some light at the end of the tunnel. And I literally pressed all the buttons. I was like, everybody.
Yep. Ditto.
It was really good. So and it also brings into that topic that you hear so much right now. I don't know, Becky. I don't know if I should buy. I got 3% on my current house. What do you think about these rates? And to be honest with you, my honest gut action is I don't care about the rates.
Right.
Because I can't control the rates. I've seen high rates. I've seen low rates. We've seen in between rates. And it's all circumstantial. But what isn't going to change is my way of educating you. How can we get you into the home? Because control what you can control. Why would you let your dream home sit on the sidelines because you don't want to pay an extra $100 right now? I guess my question or my answer to them or my question really is, what is the price point for you to miss out on your dream?
What's your motivation to move?
Yep.
Like if you're moving just to move and you don't need to move and you're just bored with your house, then maybe paint. But I mean, if you are short on space or you realize, somebody's work for home situation that started out as temporary is now permanent and you love your spouse, but you can't work with them that close in the house, and you need more space, then maybe this is the time to move. Or maybe you have too much house. There's people who have kids are gone away to school, they've moved on in life and now they need to downsize. There's a million reasons. But if you're sitting on the fence and the only reason you're not pulling the trigger is because you think the rates are high, you're being silly because your home's still going to appreciate in value. You're probably sitting on a ton of equity that we can convert into down payment for you. You know what I mean? So that maybe you're not even paying mortgage insurance. Maybe or we do rate buy downs. There's a million things that we can do, but you have to make the call.
For sure. And even just last year, so last year, the highest level of existing homes hit 6.12 million. Now, for this year, 2022, it's still going to grow by 10.4. Okay. And then they're even projecting another 5% increase in 2023. What does that tell you? That means that we're still in an appreciating market. So the doom and gloom of sellers think it's 2020 and the buyers think it's 2008, you need to stop that noise because it's not the same situation. And it's all about what is right for you and what is that right sizing. But if you're trying to wait for the rates to drop, well, guess what? Now the house is more.
Yes.
You can't time it. Go ahead.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And like the past couple of years, people have had to pay $20,000, $40,000, $50,000 more for their houses, right? What did that equate to with the interest rate? Right. So they're paying it one way or the other.
Correct.
I actually have that written down. I said people were actually tripping over themselves to pay tens of thousands of dollars over asking. But yet here we are now in a market where you actually can take time, make an educated decision about the house, go in at asking, maybe even under asking, get concessions and still get into the house. And guess what? You can refinance at your own leisure. It's not boiler room status. You can actually be in control of that too when those opportunities come. So keep it right here. We got a lot more to get into. 248-539-9797. The Hardcore Mortgage Show will be right back. Welcome back. You're listening to the Hardcore Mortgage Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I am Becky Alley, and we have a special guest with us. If you're just tuning in, we got Miss Sherry Gramlich from EXP. She is literally at the top notch, literally going out here, sprinkling her amazingness and advocating for our vets and doing everything she can to make sure that their offers are going to the front of the line, not in the middle of the line, the back of the line. She is literally changing the face of how people view VA loans, and we're trying to also be on the front lines, the pioneerings of that. And our hats off to you, Sherry. You're literally top notch, the best of the best out here. Okay, so we have a caller. We're going to go out to Kent. Thank you so much, Kent, for joining the Hardcore Mortgage Show.
Yes, thank you. I have a question on can you use a VA loan to purchase a condo?
Yes, but VAs, condos have their own condominium approval list. So people think that there's an FHA approved condo list as well. And a lot of agents I've caught go to because they think FHA and VA are the same, and they're not. They're similar, both government backed, but they go to the FHA list and say, oh, this condo's approved. But it is not. The VA maintains its own VA-approved condo list. So as long as it's on that list, you can buy it.
Yeah, so we would just need to know the name of the condo, or obviously your, whatever agent. We're going to hook you up with Sherry if you're not working with an agent. But we would just need to know where you're thinking the certain areas, and we can actually pinpoint all the condos in that county or all the condos in that city, so that way we can narrow that search, so that way you're not falling in love with something that you might not be able to use those benefits for.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. That's what I need to know, because my wife and I are considering downsizing, and we was thinking about condos, and I talked to a couple of vets, and they said that I wouldn't be able to use my VA loan, but we hadn't checked into it yet, and I just happened to hear you guys on, so I figured I'd call it.
Well, we appreciate the call, because this is some of those things that people have misinformation about. So a lot of people think that you can't buy a condo with a VA loan, and that is not true. Yep. But it does have to be on the VA approved list. So we'll make sure to reach out after the show and make sure you have our contact info, so when you find something or find an area, we can make sure you've got the list so you know what you're looking at, not wasting your time.
Okay, appreciate that.
Of course.
Yeah, that was a great call. And another situation where you're absolutely right. There's so much bad information out there, right? There's so much misconceptions and people talking to people that, your experience is different because they didn't get in line with the right professional. So who you work with matters. Start the conversations. And I'm so glad that we were to reach out, or he heard us coming through the radio today. So that way he knows that now we're going to call it right sizing. So we're going to get him hooked up with Sherry after the show. And but speaking of Sherry, I know you have a special announcement.
Yes, I do. So first, I want to talk about one of those myths.
Okay, yes.
The one is that you can use your VA loan more than one time.
Yeah.
So a lot of people think that you use it one time and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
You sell that house, you can reuse your VA loan. So you can use it a second time.
It is a lifetime benefit that does not expire.
Absolutely. So on that announcement, I have started a team. And I'm super excited about it. The purpose of it is just to spread myself out a little bit further, be able to help more veterans and more everyday people get into homes. So I've brought on 2 people, and I'm going to continue to expand my team and, not only help the agents, but be able to help the community more. And again, it does so matter who you work with. So hopefully, we get our name out there even more.
What's the name of your team?
Team Sherry Sells.
All right, and how can they find you?
On Facebook, on Instagram, on Google. Come and find me.
All right, so check us out on the Capital Mortgage Funding page as well, because we're going to have all Sherry's information, so that way you can find her. So if you're a vet, if you're not a vet, if you're just looking for good information, we're going to get you in contact with all of the people, because we only align ourselves with the highest of caliber of agents, because people have to be in line. Yes, professionals, whether it's inspections, whatever you need, because you got to be in line with our values as well. Speaking of our values, we have our fearless leader on the line, Mr. Harry Glanz.
Good morning, ladies. Good morning, Sherry, Becky, Lisa. How are you this morning?
We're good. So good. We missed your face.
Well, I miss you guys, too. And I was watching the show and listening to the show, and I saw Sherry was going to be on. I'm very, very excited. And, Sherry, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for being a vet. Thank you for your service. And I'm going to tell you this, that coming from now, I'm a military family, because my daughter, and he would kill me, married a captain in the Army. They met at ROTC at Michigan State. My son-in-law is still active, but he would kill me. I'm glad he lives in another state, so he doesn't have to listen to this. But let me tell you something. Nothing is more powerful. And I just got back, and I heard you guys talking about the American Warrior Initiative and what we have going on at Capital Mortgage Funding, powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation. We have the largest network of veterans, and I heard you say, and nothing is more powerful, ladies, than sitting in a room wearing all red, which is what we have, Red Friday, every Friday to honor our vets, sitting in a room of 800 to 1,000 people with veterans in attendance, that we've given away the service dogs to them, 101 service dogs. Last year, we contribute every year. Capital Mortgage Funding gives away a dog, and we have a special lady who's involved in the AWI, which will pass that information out. But, Sherry, there's nothing more powerful than sitting in a room and you're crying watching a service dog being presented to a vet that served our country and now needs help, and this dog is providing all the kindness and love that this vet needs, and it's helping this vet get through life right now after serving our country.
So it gives them quality of life.
Oh, totally.
It's a very emotional moment. Very emotional.
I get that. I get the same feeling, Harry, when I'm helping a veteran buy their house and they get handed their keys.
Yeah.
And I present oftentimes a wooden flag with their branch of service on it.
Beautiful.
And the look on their face and the hug that I get, it's worth every single bit of it.
So people that are not involved in the military community like I wasn't before 7 years ago when my daughter met this guy, you just don't know what kind of fraternity, what kind of bond, what kind of lasting family friendships that you have. And I'm going to tell you, the VA loan is one of the best ways to pay back our vets. The ladies have talked about it. You know about it. Zero down. Look, we're the best at doing it. We do a lot of them.
We're number 4 in the country. But we don't even brag about that because we love what
we're not
we do.
braggers.
Right. We know how to do it, and we just want to give something back. And you guys are doing a great job. You always do a great job, Sherry. Thank you for coming in. I just wanted to call and just thank you very much for everything you do. All three of you guys. You guys are the best, and I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Harry. I can't wait to see you on Monday.
You got it. I'll be there.
All right.
Talk to you guys soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, so there's things that we do that we are so under the radar because we're all about being humble, humility. But sometimes you do need to shine that light because, like Harry was talking about, so many people you're not involved. Get involved. Whatever it is, whatever sets your soul on fire, get involved, give and back, because the only thing that we get in return is the love we give away.
Absolutely.
And I love being in line with that. And when you're presenting, like you said, and you're giving back because you want them to know, you're looking them in their eyes, they're achieving something that they thought they might never achieve. You had this gentleman, he called because he didn't think he could use his VA benefits because he was listening to someone's negative proclamations.
Saying you can't use it for a
condo.
condo.
Some people are shut down by this generational doubt. Like, shed that skin.
And you gotta stop and not listen to absolutely everybody, right? So what do they know? Their belief system has given them a narrow mind, and they don't know. Things change all the time, and you got to go by your own experience and talk to the professionals.
Raise your gaze, people. Raise your gaze. Don't just look down and just call us. Even if just call it. It all starts with a conversation, and we're here to have the right conversations. We're not here to sell you. We're here to help you. Service you, take you to the different level, take you to the places that we thought we never could go, and we know how to do it because we've all done it. We've bought and sold homes. We've had rental properties. We know what to do and what worked and what didn't work sometimes. So we're here to help you. So 248-539-9797. We might have time to sneak in one other call. Before we get into that, I also want to talk about CreatorCon. If you are listening to the radio and you are thinking about being an entrepreneur, not an entrepreneur, whatever it is you're interested between health, beauty, fitness, real estate, I'm actually going to be featured on a panel. I feel super blessed, so humbled. CreatorCon, it's November 15th, 2022. I would love to meet you. I would love to, you can hear what I have to say, but then meet you after the show and just connect with people. Some of the best are going to be in that room. And so it starts at 10. It's all day. I'm on from 3 to 5, I think, is a real estate, but it's going to go all day long because it's such an added value to anyone that can hear it. And you're interested, you're going to learn a lot by being there. So
it'll help you take your business to the next level.
Heck yes.
Actually, my team I bought tickets for
Awesome.
each of them so that they can come and gain value from that. So I'm so excited to be there on Tuesday.
Yeah, you're going to be in the room with some of the best people, and they're so humble and they're so great, and I feel so blessed that I was even in the conversation to be even considered. So if you're listening, like I said, I'll check out my Capital Mortgage Funding Facebook page. I'll post all the information so you can get tickets still. It's November 15th. So I think we got one more caller coming in, but he's not here yet, so they're not ready. We're doing the little pre-things. But before we get into that, one last thing I want to hear from Sherry. In this market, what's one thing that you wish people knew happening right now today?
Gosh, one thing. Just not to let the rates bother you. Like, seriously.
And we did not pay you to say that.
No, absolutely
Right,
not.
you're right.
I literally had no idea what I was just going to ask you.
It's funny because, and I had to think about it for a minute, but when you buy a house, that's long term, right?
Right.
That's a
And
long-term
you
game.
refinance your house. People do it 2, 3, 4 times in the course of the lifetime of owning a house.
You heard it here. That you
Yep.
literally couldn't have said it any better myself. You've been listening to Hardcore Mortgage Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding, powered by Fairway, MLS number 2289. I am Becky Alley. I was joined by my ride or die, Miss Lisa Lawson, and last but not least, our invaluable Sherry Gramlich, EXP, Sherry Sells. We're going to get her team information out there. Check us out, Capital Mortgage Funding Facebook page, like it, and you can catch the recap as well. We'll see you next week.